What's up, everybody? Today we're messing with the 6-liter again, except we're doing a cool upgrade. We're popping the other turbo back in. So we've actually done the review of our 64mm, the Turbo Time USA Stage 2 turbo, phenomenal turbo. I recommend it honestly for most people that are looking for an upgraded turbo. It's perfect for about a 175, even a 175/30 injector. That Stage 2 is going to be absolutely great for. I highly recommend it. Probably get away with a 190. I do believe 205s might be a little large for it, in which case I'd highly recommend the turbo we're about to put in, the Stage 2.5 from our huge sponsor over at Turbo Time USA. Love these guys. So some of you may remember we had this on for a bit. We then needed to try this one here. I'm partway in, I haven't done anything major. Basically, I've disconnected the oil feed. I took an intercooler pipe out. We're about to take the intake and then start working on the super fun to always do the turbo pedestal bolts. You'll need this kit. I will link affiliate link down in the description. This is just the gasket O-ring kit. You'll want one of these. While you're doing it, you might as well replace them. You can get these pretty cheap. This is just a cheap Chinese one, but it has what we need. It'll work perfect. Now also, while we're in here, we're going to be trimming this boot to fit a little nicer in there, because this is not the original one that came with it. It's much longer. Need to trim it to about here. That way it'll fit in there nicely. We obviously need to wipe that turbo off because it's filthy. This is not a step-by-step how-to. If you're looking for that, guys, I will put that first comment. It'll be pinned. It'll have a how-to step-by-step remove your turbo. A lot of tools, some of the tips and tricks I use to easily get these things out. So look for that. If that's what you're looking for, this is not that video. That video will be linked down below. Go check it out. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to do a few light pulls once this is actually out of there and the new one is in. We're not going to go crazy, but we are going to have a little fun today. So this is currently my favorite wrench. It is one of my very few snap-on tools. I don't know that I'd buy it again, honestly. I'd probably buy a different, just a more affordable 6-point, because it's like a $40 wrench, which is ridiculous. But it helps with these bolts and preventing them from rounding. But I want to give a tidbit here, especially for you other 03 guys. This is an early 04, so it's got an 03 engine. This back bolt can be a bear. You can't really get a good purchase on it to really torque it, put any torque on it. Insert. In this case, oddly enough, one of my other very few snap-on tools. I bought this used on eBay for like 10, 15 bucks or something. I love it. Anyway, I digress. So while you're pointing this, like when you're on it, this is about the angle, it's straight up. You can then use a pry bar, like take your shield off if you have one on, like, because there's normally a heat shield here. But then off that nub there, you can actually, if you come about here, you can actually press against it and help get that rear bolt off. I'll probably end up needing to do something similar over here in the side bolt once I take this off. I'm not sure if I can get enough on it to really take that off. This one, we'll see what I need to do. Not sure yet, but anyway, I just wanted to give that little tidbit on removing those bolts. They're one of the more annoying parts of this job for many people, so I just wanted to give some pretty easy, quick advice on how to do it. I obviously have my plastic that has like the wire loom up there. I obviously have that off because I was running those colored wires for my boost sensor. Anyone that can guess the boost that I made on this turbo so far, down in the comments below, let me know. It was a little more than I think I should have been making for that turbo, but it's hard to say because I also believe I'm running out of air. I think I need a bigger filter, which we're in the works of doing, but I'm going to do a cheaper setup before I eventually settle on the no limit, because the no limit has time and time again for many dynos outperformed other intakes. So I will be putting that on here at some point. I used to be one of the biggest SMB fans out there. Even on this setup, where they still had this opening on the side to draw air in. I obviously have the top off, although the top looks super cool on these. But if you're upgrading turbos, I no longer recommend the S&B, especially the current ones, because they're really relying on just this front part to pull in all your air. And when you're doing bigger turbos, bigger injectors, ignore everybody out there that says you don't need to. If you're going to push your truck, you need a bigger filter. That's just all there is to it. Those guys are probably never doing over quarter throttle, and they're like, no, the intake's great for 600 horsepower. That's dumb. Don't listen to those guys. We're going to be doing a test in the future, hooking vacuum gauges up to each filter setup I test. So my S&B, this filter has less than 1,000 miles on it, so it was brand new when we put it on, so this will be a good testing. And then we're also going to do a cheap intake tube with an AFE filter. I actually spec'd one out already, and eventually we'll do the no limit setup. Just also with the no limit, I need to figure out a way I'm going to do the crankcase vent. So we're going to actually modify the no limit intake so I can still have my crankcase vent hooked up. So we got our pedestal out. We got this cleaned up a little bit. It's obviously not painted or anything, but there was a lot of oil on it. Here is the old turbo. I love this, guys. Again, 64 millimeters, phenomenal turbo to be running for most of you guys out there. This thing kicks ass. This is one of the covers Turbo Time was trying out for a bit, where they had their name or their logo engraved. I think it actually looks really cool. This is a factory one that they shaved off the Garrett that's normally here, but we're gonna get this thing back in the truck. It was in there before. I love this turbo. I want to be clear, I really like both of these. Also, I hope you guys appreciate, I'm out here sweating my butt off for this video. It's making me really work for it. But also spend some time making sure you clean up the valley. Put something to block off the oil drain tube hole so that that stays clean and you don't get debris in there causing you high pressure oil issues. But clean that up as well. Because of the sun and stuff, I can't get you a good picture in there because of lighting issues, but and GoPro limitations, but just do that. It'll save yourself the hassle. All right, so we do have our stage 2.5 turbo back in the truck. We're just reconnecting a few things. The Y pipe is back to the turbo, seated correctly. We did have to loosen up at the driver's side manifold. We're gonna put the clamp back on the exhaust on the turbo. And then we're, home stretch. There really isn't a whole lot left at this point to do. Nothing super wild. So we're gonna do that. We then have to put our drain tube, or our oil feed line back up. The drain tube's already in, both 2 new O-rings and everything in there. So plug in a couple of sensors as we put the intake back in, get our boost tube. Home stretch, guys, stay tuned. All right, we forgot to shoot a ending for this, but if you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop those comments down below. What turbos are you guys running in your trucks? What's been your experience? And I'll see you in the next upload.